guys, this is Sarah from Sarah Soldiers coming to you from Asan City in Chungnam-do, South Korea. So, if you watched any of my other videos, you might know that I am currently a Korean government scholarship recipient, and I am here in Asan at Seoul National University doing my Korean language training program. So I know when I was applying for this scholarship, I could not find any decent information online about, how to apply for the scholarship or what kind of expectations the committee has when they're selecting students. So for a little background, I am from the USA and I applied through embassy track for Seoul National University, Dongguk University, and Korea University, and I ended up passing all three. So hopefully this information will be helpful to you. And I mean, of course, every situation is different, and if your information is different from mine, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to pass. My stats are definitely not perfect, and I still somehow ended up getting to SNU, so yeah, don't give up. Let's get started. Oh, and also, for your reference, I have included my entire application in the link below this video, so you can see literally exactly what I wrote for my essays and all of the whole application, because it's really confusing. However, it is in Korean. I will also provide a computer translated version. I don't really have time to translate the entire thing. But yeah, so let's go. So, first of all, for a little bit of my educational background. In the States, I did my undergrad at Georgetown University and I graduated with a 3.602 GPA, which is not bad, but it's not, it's not a 4.0. I definitely did not have perfect grades. In my freshman year of college, I kind of messed up in a couple of classes. Econ was not my friend and I was required to take 4 econ classes, and I think I never got higher than a B in any of them. I had a C on my transcript. In my major though, I did have I think a 3.9 something. It was my major GPA was pretty high, but my overall GPA was not the worst, but not, super stellar either. So if you feel like your GPA is on the low side, I suggest that you still apply. I believe that they accept anything over a 3.0. Hold on, let me double check. I have the okay, so you have to have at least a 2.64 on a 4.0 scale, and for reference, I think it's a B- average in the US. They're not asking for perfection. If you are above that level, I suggest that you still apply, even if maybe you're not the most confident in your grades. I studied Korean before, which I think was kind of a big draw for me, being able to, get into the program, because Korean is hard, especially if you're doing a language, or if you're doing a program where the language of instruction is Korean only. They do give you a year of free Korean language instruction, even if you don't know anything, but frankly speaking, learning Korean from zero to the point that you can understand college lecture and be able to do college level work in Korean is going to be pretty difficult. So I attached my TOPIK level 5 certificate to the application. I think it had just barely expired, but I believe they did still look at it. So even if your TOPIK scores are not within the validity period, you can still include them just to show them that you have taken the TOPIK and you've studied Korean before. I took the TOPIK again in May and I got a 6 on that exam, but the results came out after the date that they needed us to turn in all of our documents, so I ended up still having to do the Korean language program. But honestly, I think this was the right choice for me, because even TOPIK 6 does not necessarily mean you have perfect Korean. My Korean is definitely still not perfect, and it's definitely not native level, and I want to be as close to that as possible before, I start doing a master's degree in Korean. Want to learn as much as I can, have some humility, and then have some humility. Excuse me. And also, I had some personal projects that I wanted to work on before I ended up going straight into the master's. I did a Fulbright scholarship before I came here in China, and I didn't have time to analyze all my data because I had to leave early, because you have to be in Korea by the end of August. There's no negotiating around that, unfortunately. So I'm working on that project, getting better at Korean, doing some stuff. I have time to upload videos like this one, so yeah, it all worked out. For my recommendation letters, I got them both from professors who, One professor was someone that I worked on for my undergraduate thesis project, which I wrote about North Korean women in film. So like I analyzed 50 North Korean propaganda films and their depictions of women over time, and I compared two different historical periods. And then the other professor who wrote my recommendation letter was my Korean teacher from my freshman and sophomore years of college. And in my senior year, he also hired me as a Korean language TA. So both of those professors were people who knew me and had known me for a really long time, number one, and also were like aware of my career goals as well as my Korean language ability. So I think they were able to vouch better for, you know, my ability to complete coursework in Korean in Korea about Korea. Yeah, so I think that was definitely helpful. I think the last thing that really helped me kind of get over the edge so that I was able to get the scholarship is I have a lot of experience both in Korea and outside of Korea, like researching things that have to do with the peninsula. So for instance, the research that I was doing in China was actually about ethnic Koreans in China, like their relationship with North and South Korea versus China. And I studied this through language, which is really cool. And then prior to that, I've worked for multiple like North Korean refugee NGOs, which is pretty cool. And then I was also the president of like Truth and Human Rights in North Korea at my alma mater, Georgetown University. So I think like if you have like any connection to Korea whatsoever, I mean it's not always gonna be like this much, but if you have any connection to Korea whatsoever, I think emphasizing that in your application is really important. And I mean like if you've never been to Korea before, if you don't know anything about Korean culture, like it is gonna be really hard for you even if you do get the scholarship. So if you're thinking about applying, I do recommend like looking into more opportunities to learn more about Korea, you know, try the food, learn some of the language, meet some of the people, wherever it is that you are in the world. And if you're trying to learn Korean and you need practice speaking, I highly recommend a website called italki.com. This is not a sponsored. I use that website all the time to practice different languages that I've learned. I studied Mandarin and Russian in college for a bit, so I used italki to practice both of those languages, and it was very, very helpful. So I wish that I had used a website like italki to learn Korean when I was learning for the first time in America before I came here originally. Yeah, so to sum things up, you don't need to have perfect grades. It does help if you have like grades that are on the higher end. If you take the TOPIK exam, it makes a big difference in your application, even if it's not like a level 5 or a level 6, which you would need to test out of the Korean language placement exam. Just showing that you took the initiative to study the material and then go probably far away to take the exam, I think is a really good thing. You just want to convey as much as possible in your application that you're really serious about undertaking responsibilities that come along with being a graduate student in Korea. I mean, living in Korea is super fun and I like it a lot, especially at first when you haven't been studying the language for so long. It's quite difficult. So kind of showing that you're proactively trying to circumvent those difficulties, I think, is helpful. Alright, well, I hope that this video was helpful. If you thought that it was, make sure to give me a like and a subscribe. I'm going to be making more videos about the Korean government scholarship and my experiences here in Korea coming up soon. You can also follow me on Instagram at SarahSeoulSearch, and it's the same exact spelling as my channel username, so you shouldn't have any trouble finding it. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can make sure to leave me a comment in the comment section below, or you can also send me an email at sarahseoulsearch@gmail.com. Alright, I'm so happy to talk to all of you. And again, if you want to see how I did the application, I have included the entire thing, minus the letters of recommendation, which I was not provided. They were sent directly to the embassy right here. Alright, see you guys soon, bye!